Okay, list style type property is used to specify the list style types. And okay, bullet styles are square, are circle. So like this we can specify list style type for order list and unordered list. So one example for this, create one HTML file, .html form. So remove these styles and these paragraphs also. So now we have empty HTML form. So take one order list, OL tag, okay, and the list items is some like cities names, okay, Hyderabad, Chennai. Next, Bangalore. So like this, we can define number of cities, and so for example, if you run this example, so by default it will take a numbering styles, okay, for each and every list item. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like this numbers are taken by default. And using CSS also, you can define list style types, okay, like upper Roman and lower Roman, and number and alphanumeric styles also. OL, okay, see this is element selector, right, using element name. List style type property we have to use, okay, upper Roman. So now run this example. So upper Roman values applied. So like this we can apply like so upper alpha and lower alpha. Refresh this example. So upper alpha caps ABCDs, and lower alpha small ABCDs. And for another list also same. Take one another list and the same list items. Okay. So first of all, run this example. Okay. By default, bullet styles is applied for each and list for list items in another list. Okay. So we can define list items like square, circle, okay, bullet styles for another list. Use UL and list item style type. Bullet already by default it will take bullet styles, and you can use circle. Replace this example. Okay, circle list items styles is applied. So like in CSS, we can define this list style types, and also we can define image also as the list item marker. Square, you can see square. So And one more property, we have one more property in CSS, that is list style image. Again, list style image. List style image property is used to provide, used to specify specifies an image as the list item style. Okay, use this list style image property to specify the image as the list item style. Okay, so far we are applied upper Roman and lower Roman and upper alpha, lower alpha, and bullet styles and square, circle. Okay, now we can apply image also, okay, as list item style. So search in Google like tick marks or cross marks images. Okay, tick mark icons. So you can download any image from here. Okay, tick marks or cross marks or any image you want. So you can apply this image as a list item marker. Okay, so now download any one image. Okay, save this image in CSS. Okay, tick image. So we can use this image as a list item marker. Okay, so now instead of using list style type property, use list style image property, and URL of the image name is tick image.png. Tick image.png. So now run this example. List style image. URL list items. Okay, so remove this one. So image size is bigger than our expected size. Okay, so that's why image list items are list items are showing like this. So already explained in previous classes. One second. where is that image? Okay, so this is the image. So copy this image and paste in our folder. Okay, so copy this image and apply the image name here. Check, optimize, alright, write.png. Okay, so now run this example again. So here you can see, so this is the right marks, and list item markers is showing. Okay, you can set image size, okay, to change the look of the list item styles. Okay, so use this property to apply image as a list item marker, but we need to change this image styles, okay, when you are implementing any real-time application. So next property in CSS, that is background property. Background. So using CSS background property, so we can define the background effects on HTML elements. Using this property, we can define background effects on HTML elements. Okay, HTML elements like a background color. So background effects are like background color, second one background image, and the third one background repeat. Okay, background repeat, and the fourth one background attachment, and the fifth one background position. Okay, so these are the background properties, and uh, background is the property. Okay, this is short-term property, and using this property we can define all these properties in CSS. Okay, we can use only on this property, that is background property. This is the short-term property in CSS. We can define all these properties using this property. So using background color property allows us to define background color to HTML elements. Background color to HTML elements. Okay, use background color property. Syntax background color, and you can define so in real-time applications don't define any color names. Okay, use only color codes, HTML color codes. So that is the professional way to define the colors and define the and design the application. So use color codes only like this. Okay, and background image. Using this property you can define background image to an HTML elements. Okay, to HTML elements. So use background image property, image and URL of. Okay, we have to define this URL of and the single quotes and specify image name, image name dot png or jpg. Okay, and next repeat property. Use this property to repeat or no repeat image in background. And image background attachment and background position. So in background attachment also same, we can set background image for the to any HTML element, and we can set the position, the background position. Okay, background image position. Using this property we can set the position, background position. So use this shorten property to define all these properties, like use this background property and URL of image.png and image width, okay, 100% and no repeat. So like this we can define all the properties. Okay, background, this is background image property, and this is background size property, and this is background repeat property. Okay, we can mix all these properties in one single background property, that is the shorten property. So create an HTML form, that is background dot html. So take one div tag, okay. So in this div tag specify some content to display. Okay, this is the content to display in div tag, assume that, and the div id is div1, and write css properties using id selector div1. So now define css properties like div height 300 pixels and width also 300 pixels, and background color property. Okay, define colors, HTML colors, HTML color codes. Okay, so use this color code. Okay, and close this height, width and background color. Okay, so now run this example. So background color and background height, width. Okay, image height and width, div tag height and width 300 pixels and 300 pixels is applied. Okay, and the background color. So now, so this is background color example, and we can use background image. Okay, background image to define the background. Instead of color, image, URL of just use desert the jpg file as a background. Okay, so desert dot jpg. So now run this example again. The background image is applied. Okay, instead of color, background image is applied, but image is not stretched. Okay, to stretch the image, uh, use background size property. 100%. Okay, so now here you can see image is repeating. Okay, image is the original image is displaying up to here, and again image is repeating. And if you don't want to repeat the image, you can use background repeat property. Background repeat, no repeat. So background is not repeated. Refresh this. The background is not repeating, but image height is 300 pixels and width also 300 pixels, but image is displaying the original height and width. Okay, if you want to repeat the image, you can remove this property, and you can define all these three properties in one single property, like background property. Okay, the URL of desert.jpg, next 100% and no repeat. Okay, now remove these three properties. Run this example again. Okay, same. So actually in single background shorten property 100% is not working. For only this, use background size. Okay, they use this separately. Okay, so this is the usage of background shorten property. You can define all these properties in single statement. So this is the professional way. In real-time applications also define like this only. So because reduce the code, so don't write heavy code, try to reduce the code. And the next one is background color is completed, image completed, and repeat completed. And our assignment is background attachment and background position. Okay, these two are your assignment. Okay, so try to complete this background attachment and background position. So simple, use background attachment property and define the styles, and background position also, like in top position and right position, left to bottom. Okay, and these are the background property. Next, CSS border styles. The CSS border styles. In CSS, use border style property. Border style property to define border styles, to define different border styles on HTML elements. Okay, so we have the number of border styles, like 9 types of border styles is available. So first one is dotted border, and second one is dashed border, third one solid border styles. So these are border styles. And double line border. So this is normal border styles. Okay, 1 2 3 4. So these four normal border styles. And if you want to define 3D border styles, you can use grow, and the sixth one ridge, and the seventh one inset and outset. Okay, these four 3D border styles, and these four are normal border styles. And finally, ninth one is none. If you don't want to define any border style, you can define none. So border style is removed if you use this property. So dotted border, it defines dotted border styles. Defines dotted border style. The dotted border style, and the syntax is border style property, border style dotted. Okay, so we have to define like this. If you need dotted border style, use this property. Next, dashed border defines dashed border styles. So syntax is okay, dashed border, and solid also same. This it defines solid border style. Okay, so it means single line border. Single line border. So this is the syntax for solid. Okay, solid border style. For double also same. To define double line border, use this property. To define double line border, use this value. Okay, double line. And the 3D borders also same. Groove, ridge, and inset and outset. And these styles, groove style defines a 3D border style. It's defined 3D border style, and this is based on this effect is depends on the border color value. This effect is depends on the border color value. Border color. Okay, only border color. Okay, grow border style. ridge also same, defines 3D border style, 3D border, and this effect also depends on the border color only. Okay, and inside and outside also same, defines a 3D border style, and this effect depends on the border color value, and these two are opposite, and these two are opposite. Okay, so this 3D border style display in inside, and this outside border style displays outside of the element. Okay, around the element, and this is inside element, and this is outside element, and this is if you don't want to define any border style, use this none. Okay, syntax border style none. So that's it. So now create an HTML form, border styles.html. So this is one div tag, and height width is okay, fine. Now use background color. Background color is okay. Use this background color. Okay, so now I want to display border colors. Okay, border styles. Use border style, border style property, dotted border, and border color. Okay, border color is mm, just use this. Okay, for just now only. So run this example. You can see here uh, border color blue color, and the border style is dotted border. Okay, you can increase the border width also using border width property and 4 pixels. Okay, and refresh this example. Okay, so 4 pixel border. So this is the dotted border style. Define this like a 6. Okay, background width is 6 pixels. See here, so this is dotted border, and if you want to define dashed border, use border style dashed, and refresh this example. Okay, this is dashed border styles. Next, if you want to define solid border style, that is single line border. Okay, this is only one line of border, and you can use double to display double line border. Okay, double lines will appear, you can see here. Okay, double line border. Next, these four are seeing normal border styles. Okay, dotted, dashed, solid, and double. And next, you can define 3D border styles like groove, ridge, and inside and outside. Define groove. Uh, Border width is 20 pixels. Okay, for our clarification. You can see here, you can see 3D border. Okay, this is grow border style, and next one is ridge. So ridge is opposite to the grow. Okay, you can see the difference. Next, insert and outset. Insert. So this is uh, insert border style, 3D border, and outset is, it is completely opposite to the insert. You can see the difference now. Okay, this is outside, displaying outside of the element. So these are the border styles available. And if you don't want to define any border style, use none property. Okay, none value. So refresh this example. So there is no border. Okay, only div tag with the background color. Okay, and the div height width. So these are the border styles. Next, here we can use only short-term property, that is border. We can use short-term property. Short short-term property to define border styles. Okay, use this only background. Border short-term property to define border styles. Use only border. Okay, border short-term property, and define like border width 4 pixel and space, border style solid, and border color is red. Okay, so like this you can define. So this is border width and border style and border color. So three values define in single statement. Okay, uh, in this example we remove these three properties, that is border styles. Use only border short term property. uh, 10 pixel border width. Next, double line border and blue style, blue color border. Now you can run this example. Okay, double line border and blue color and border width. So three values are defined in single statement. Okay, this is also one professional way to define border styles in single statement. So we have number of properties in border. So border width, border left width, top style, okay, left color, and border right style, border image width, image source, okay, border image repeat, and left style, top style, okay, top color and right color, top width. So all these are border styles. Okay, you can define individual border styles also, like top side one style, and the right side one style, bottom side one style, and left side one style. Like you can define use border. Okay, top border top 10 pixel, okay, border style, border width and double line border and blue. Next, border right, border right 20 pixel size border and solid uh, color is yellow. Okay, now run this example. Solid style 20 pixels, right? So that's why this is displaying like this. Top is double line border and right is single line border with 20% border size. So define this like 6 pixels. Okay, so like this it will display. So using uh, border top, border right and border bottom, border left also, you can define individual border styles for the HTML elements. So this is the border styles in CSS. Next, CSS margin and padding properties. CSS margin and padding properties. So these two are very important topics in CSS. Okay. Uh, Using this margin and padding properties, we can define the space around the element and element content. Okay, between the element and the element content, and we can set the uh, position also using margin and padding properties. Okay, CSS margin properties are used to generate space around elements. Okay, like around the element or between element and element content, you can generate the space. So the margin properties set the size of the white space outside the border, and the margin does not have a background color. CSS, first of all, margin property. CSS margin property, margin property is used to generate generate space around the element. Okay, around the element, the margin properties set the size of the white space around the outside the border. This property set the white space outside of the border. Okay, outside of the border. And we have margin property, and in margin we have four properties like margin top, margin right, margin bottom, and margin left. Okay, these are the four properties in margin property. So you can define individual margins also. Okay, in top side you can define the space, and right side also you can define space. In bottom and left side also you can define spaces individually. And if you need uh, same space for top side, right side, bottom and left side. You can use margin shorten property. Okay, use margin shorten property to define all these top, right, bottom and left. So this is the order to define. First of all, top 20 pixel space and space right 10 pixel and bottom 40 pixel and left 50 pixels. So this is the order. First of all, top side and next right side and bottom and left. Okay, anywhere you go. So this is the order. Top, right, bottom and left. Use this margin. Margin is the shorten property to define space around the element individually. And if you need same size for all sides, okay, top, right, bottom and left, use only one value like this. So this will apply for all sides, like top, right, bottom and left, all sides 10 pixels. And if you need different pixel size, pixel space, you can define uh, individually. And the margin property is completely transparent. So copy this example and create one new file, that is margin.html. Okay, paste here. And same we can use div tag and div tag height, width, and use first of all run this example. Okay, and so only background, use only background color. Okay, div with the background color red color and div height and width. Okay, so now there is no space around the element. Okay, there is no space around the element, only div is displaying without any space around the element. So now if you need space around the element, use margin property and 20 pixels. Okay, this 20 pixel will apply for all sides. Okay, top side and right, bottom and left. Okay, div is moved to 20 pixel from left to top, bottom and right. Okay, there is a gap between and there is a gap around the element, you can see. Okay, if you remove this margin property, you can see. Okay, div is moved to 0 pixels. And if we enable this property margin, div is moved to 20 pixel from left 20 pixel, from top 20 pixel and right also 20 and bottom also 20 pixels. And if you need individual uh, sizes, so first of all 20 pixel and right side you need 30 pixels and bottom 40 pixels, and from left you need 50 pixel. You can define like this. So now you can see from top 20 pixel only, from left to 50 pixel space and bottom 40 pixel space is there, and from right 30 pixel size. Okay, using this margin property we can set the white space around the element. So like we can move this element using this property. See, image div tag is moving. from left to right. So like this also you can set the element position. Okay, otherwise you can use margin left, margin right, margin bottom, and margin top, individual margin style, margin properties. Or you can use margin shorten property to define individual spaces around the element. Okay, now refresh this example. Same margin property from margin values is applied. Okay, this is margin property, and padding property is used to define the space between the element and element content. You can see here in this div tag content is there, but there is no gap between content and element border. Okay, so there is no space. So to insert space between the content and element border, element means div border, so there is no space, right? To insert space between element border and element content, use this padding property. To uh, define the space between the element and element border and element content. Okay, so define space between the element border and the element content. Use modern padding property to define space between element border and element content. So here also 4 properties is there: margin, padding top, and padding right, padding bottom, padding left. Okay, if you need individual spaces between the element border and element content, you can define all these things. Or if you need same space between element border and element content for all sides, okay, top side and right side, bottom side and left side, you can use padding shorten property, and you can define only one value. So this value is applied to the all sides. So in the same example, you can define padding. Padding is 20 pixel. That's it. So this value is applied for all sides. So now run this example. Here you can see. So padding 20 pixel for all sides. Okay, there is a gap between element border and element content. Okay, now space is generated. So this is the usage of padding and margin properties. Okay, you can use individual uh, values also. This is top side, next right side, and bottom and left side. And now run this example. From left 60 pixels, Okay, top 20 pixel and right 30 pixel and bottom only 10 pixel. That's why uh, small space is there in the bottom. So but left side 60 pixel space. Okay, you can define individual values for individual sides, top, right, and bottom and left. So this is the order to define margin and padding properties, property values. Okay, individual sides we can use this Shatam property. Okay, Shatam properties allows us to specify different borders for different sides. Shatam property define all the margins in one property, margins and paddings in one property.